down payment. Her offers are strong. It's just buyer's down payment. Someone had more money down, and that's how she kind of lost. I guess I just wanted to share just with Clark, we got around 8 to 10 offers on that. And what we talked about, Amy, an agent actually did this. A Berkshire Hathaway said, Scott, if there's any insight you could just share with me that I could let my clients know would be extremely helpful. And I said, well, I know what she wanted to know, where the offers were coming, because I think her clients came in at 920. And I said something like, we received somewhere between 7 to 10 offers, and the highest offers ranged from 950 to 970. I hope that helps you out. And she said, yes, that's exactly what I wanted to hear, because my clients were stuck at 920, but they're not getting it. And I said, yeah, no, we're in the same boat. So anything I can help you with, just I hope you can return the favor. So I'm always asking, remember me, don't forget. So if any of you write offers, but I thought that was a great question for her to, and this was all via text too. I didn't pick up the phone. She didn't pick up the phone. She just said, hey, if there's any way you can just help me direct my clients, just curious if you can give me ballpark range where you're ending up at. And I understand, but I know not all listing agents will do that, but it's worth the effort to then you can go back to your clients if you happen to run into that scenario. But
I agree. Like the agent and we build a great rapport, like several of them, like a majority of the offers that I build a great rapport with the agent. They pretty much tell me like, okay, this is where you need to be. And it comes down to the down payment of my client. Like if everything was good, the agent and I agree on everything. They basically tell me what to write it at. And then they tell me, and then when I present, oh, your payment's only 5,000 or 5% down. I have a person that's putting 300,000 down. Well, how can I compete with that?
Well, so
even
now
if I do have a good rapport with it,
Well, two things come to mind. One is handle the objection before it becomes an ejection.
Yeah.
Let them know, look, here's what's going to happen. This is what I'm running into. We're going to be one of your top offers. We have the money on the sideline to make up an appraisal shortfall. My clients, though, are opting to just put 5% down. I know you have people with 20 to 30% down. I know you do, because that's who we're losing out to. But I assure you, if you could just, my lender has contacted you, and I'm hoping you can just have a conversation with them so that you can feel confident that she can get it done at 5% down. I just need that opportunity. Now, that's the first thing, right? So you're dismissing and you're handling what the agent's already thinking about, which is still a tough objection to overcome, because I've got a Long Beach agent who I know really well. They're one of the top offers, just like you. She's 5%. She's 5% down. She's using CLS Financial, who I know Tony very well. They're qualified for it. And I could go that direction, and I would feel confident that Tony would get the loan done. The challenge, though, is that's their max. So when I multiple counter them, we're getting offers over what they came in at. So now if this agent raises their offer price now per Alex, their DTIs are going to be out of whack. They're borrowing more than really what they can qualify for. And that's where she's going to run into a challenge. And I'm going to have to tell her, I'm going to say, look, at the price you offered, you're golden. But my lender told me any higher than that, it's going to be a crapshoot.
Yeah.
So she's going to, obviously, then I have another one with $300,000 down. So point being, so option one is you're going to just have to tell them what your challenge is and ask if they can give you an opportunity. Or two, back to what we said also, you're going to have to tell your clients they're going to have to tap into that 401k, and they're going to have to show 20% down. They're going to have to grab it and use it as a down payment.
Yeah.
Is that an option for them? Did you have that conversation?
Yeah, it is. They were thinking about it. They were bummed with the last one, so um they took a day off basically to kind of recollect, and then they were like, let's go back at it. Like, let's
Uh,
just keep trying. Like, we need to move back out. We need to move to Long Beach.
yeah. Okay. Now that we kind of are moving the needle
Mm-hmm.
and we have a game plan to move forward, keep in mind, guys, now this is a referral. So the agent referred me this client that Amy's helping with. So there's a bond for us, right? But if this was an internet lead or some other Yelp lead, whatever, you have to keep in mind, statistically speaking, you have like 3 attempts at this
Yeah.
before you're out. So that needs to be the, thought process that I've got to really get them up to speed as quickly as possible. So by my second or my third offer, the first one, it's hard to really get them to do what we want them to do. They have to learn usually on that first one sometimes to understand how to be successful in this market, but you at least have to let it roll off your tongue and educate them. And so when it happens, what you said, they kind of go, okay, Amy knows what she's talking about. Maybe we should follow her lead. Then you get another swing at the bat. By the third one, though, if you don't get that offer accepted, they're usually going to take a break, which means you're getting fired for now. And they're going to start making offers with someone else. And the good news is hopefully, they're not going to be successful with that agent either, unless they come across someone like me, where I will then, if they don't follow my lead based on that they were just working with another agent and they're trying to take me down that same path that they took that other agent down based on the questions I'm asking them, and then they want to push back and not do what I'm suggesting to be successful, I'm going to say, you know what, I'm not the right fit for you. You want to do what you just did with the last agent, but yet you let them go. And now you're still doing the same activities and the same negotiations as you did with them. I'm not going to sit here and just take down orders for you. It's not going to get you in the front door. And you're just going to waste another 3 potential dream homes. And we're going to fall short every single time. Unless you're willing to do X, Y, and Z, it's going to be impossible. Even with relationships, experience, negotiations, I can't do anything to get you into that house. You're always falling short.
Thanks, Scott, for that. It just clicked in my head how my previous client that I showed a million houses to, he's never going to get a house. And I was taking orders from him the whole time, and that just clicked. Like, I knew he wasn't going to get a house the way we were putting in offers, but I was too scared to tell him. And I drove him around everywhere, showed him so many houses until I met you. And I was like, okay, I have to fire him because he's never going to get anything, So I was taking orders for my client for sure. And that just solidifies what I knew. I was doing that, but I thought, well, that's what I have to do. The more offers I put in, the better chance, but it's not like that.
Yeah. It's kind of like that whole dating analogy, you fall into that friend zone and you can't close the deal.
Right.
Just, you guys end up being friends, but one person's thinking another thing, that episode, and it's just, it's very, very hard. So, and now in this market, the way you can let them go without being too hard-nosed is you just share experiences. So you share what's happening with this person or that person, Allison, that you were working with, and you use that scenario with a past experience. So it doesn't sound like, you're just trying to get rid of them, but you can just say, I was working with a client just like you. And here's what ended up happening. We did what we're doing for 6 months. And before you know it, what we were looking at for $600,000 in that 6-month period became $700,000.
Exactly.
So It's going the opposite direction, and you were wanting to offer in the fives. Right. And so what I'm telling you is that if we're looking for a deal, it doesn't exist in this market for a buyer. It just doesn't. You know, my team helped 60 families last year get into a home. And I know, because I see the numbers, not one of those 60 opened escrow at or below list price. None of them. Zero.
Right.
So until the pendulum switches and interest rates hike up, we're not unfortunately going to be able to get a deal in this market. And again, I get it. It's ugly. This market is not for everyone. So if you need to put the process on hold, I understand. And when you're ready, let me know. I'll roll up my sleeves. We'll grab a shovel and we'll start digging again.
Right.
So when you meet with someone else, you know, again, this is the story. Especially the easiest people to convert are the ones who are leaving their other agent to now look for greener pastures. They didn't get what they wanted because they were calling the shots and not listening to Amy. Now, when they come to me, I'm going to say, well, Bob, tell me how long have you been looking? Well, I've been looking for 7 months. Wow, that's a long time. I got to imagine in that time period, you found something you liked. Oh yeah, we did. And I got to imagine then you probably made some offers. Yes, we did. Terrific. Give me some examples. Where were you coming in at? What were the price range you're looking? I'm looking at 700,000. Perfect. And where were you offering? Well, it depended on the house, but you know, we were going in at 710, 720. And I'm like, okay, and what happened? Well, we never got it. And I was just like, well, where did those properties end up at? Did you ever look to see what they closed at? And you know they did. They're double checking our work. You know that they looked up 123 Main Street in 30 days and it sold for 785. And then, so I'm looking for him to tell me it sold for 785. And I'm going to say, well, so how many offers did you make? And did you learn from the ones you lost on? So your next offer, did you go up to 785? Are you competing or are you still writing at 720? Well, it depended on the house. I went up as high as 750 and I'm like, yeah, but did you go up to 785? So here's the deal. If you want to come work with me, I'm all for it. But I'm also going to tell you what you need to do to be successful in this market if you're serious. If you're trying to take advantage of the low interest rates, I can help you. But you got to follow my lead. And I'll tell you right now, 720, 750 is not going to, you're already bid out of that. What you wanted for 720, 750 was closing at 780. 780 now is 800. So the longer you wait to do what you need to do to be successful, the market's getting away from you. It's getting higher and higher and higher. Do you think you're ready to go ahead and put your best foot forward when we find that house and write a competitive offer? You know, I'm tying it down. I'm waiting for an answer. They say, yeah, I am. Okay, then I think I can help you. But I'm almost telling them, like, I don't want you if you're not willing to do this. I got enough of those people. The sales are far in between. You know, La Mirada opened up 6 escrows in January out of 100 plus agents. 6. We opened up 1. I mean, that's just our team. But we wrote 15 to 20. You know, that's hard.
Yeah.
So it's almost painting this ugly picture to make their skin crawl. And if they come crawling back, then you have them in your hand.
Can I share something, Scott?
Yep.
So one thing I do, if you do have, well, this is one thing I did before, and maybe it might work for you guys because I'm not really good with breakups. So Scott had me write down all the offers we made with a client. I think we made like 7, 8. He made me write down the number that we came in at and the numbers that the property closed at. And that was an easier breakup for me because I showed them they had 2 pre-approvals, one for 550 with down payment assistance and one for 600, but they had to put a lot more skin in the game. And they kept trying to offer at the 550. but I would give them the intel. They have offers at 560, 575. We need to be around here in order to get it. And they would still be like, oh, okay, we'll come in at 550. So my breakup was I sent them a list of all the addresses, offer price, and the closing price, and they all closed over 550, even if it was 5,000 over. They closed between 550 and 600. So that was a way for me to tell them that this is not working. And unless they're gonna go higher to the 600, and their information was out of it was not current with Fernando. So I said, unless you guys are going to go up to 600 and you're going to resubmit your documents to Fernando, which is another lender from La Mirada, then we're not going to be able to keep looking at houses. And that was a lot easier breakup for me because I was blaming on the numbers, and it wasn't my fault. Basically, it was all in the numbers. So it was an easier breakup for me.
Data. You're not telling them. You're showing them. You're showing them their decisions. That was their decision to come in where they decided to come in at.
And that was 3 months ago. And she texted me yesterday. She sent me a property. So now I said, unless you're going to submit your paperwork to Fernando and follow my lead, then this is when we should go look at the house. But at least now she knows, and I'm not biting my tongue.
And I assure you, during that period, that gap when Dennis let her go to now, she made other offers with somebody else. She sees the value in what Dennis is bringing to the table now. Because Dennis is telling her not what she wants to hear, but what she needs to hear. And now she feels like she's in better hands with Dennis than she was with the person that she just picked up last week and wrote another offer and kind of did the same fire drill. So yeah, now Amy's situation's different though. What I think Amy's situation is she's going to find out that some of these properties are closing less than what she was offering. The challenge though is that they're only 5% down. So the listing agent and the sellers are kind of going, well, it's kind of cool that they offered so much money, but do they even and they removed the appraisal contingency, but do they really have the money to make up the shortfall? Because wasn't that right, Amy? Wasn't your offer like 775 or 575 and the $339,000 down was only 550?
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
So $25,000 less.
They were willing to not have the $25,000 because of a sure thing, of a sure 300,000.
See how that kind of works? So like how we started this call out, this Long Beach agent, 5% down, exactly like Amy. I know Tony, the LO, very well. I'm confident he can get it done. And if it stayed at 765 or whatever, 965, then, yeah, they could get it done. But if it goes any higher, it's a crapshoot. And that's where Amy was kind of stuck at. And so then it comes down to, shoot, do you want to throw the dice or do you just want to go for the for sure thing? And that's a condition that Amy can't they do have money in the 401k. That's the only solution, is to put a larger down payment. They're going to have to tap into that 401k.
One thing that helps me is saying, but you put the blame on somebody else. The sellers like to see, instead of us, obviously the sellers like to see a higher down payment. So if you could go into your 401k, that would give you more of an advantage because you're putting more money down. Would that sound right, Scott?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, she has to. If they're not willing to do the things that they need to do to put themselves in the best position possible to increase their probability, Amy did everything right on that last offer. This is not a negotiation now. It's not that she missed a step. She got him to go 25,000 higher. She built rapport with the agent. She figured out where they needed to be. She got them the counter offer. It just came down to sheer 5% down, 35% down. All things, this even has more money, but can't compete. That's on the clients. And that's what I was telling Amy. You got to just pick yourself up, brush yourself off.
Yeah.
You did it right. You got to feel optimistic. You got to sound like you have the answer. Guys, we know for a fact it's the 5% down. You're going to have to get in that 401k, and we're going to have to show that and come in with at least 20% down. And what's scary, and this is my takeaway to the client, what's scary too is that I'm still not sure that would have even got it done on the last one because they were 30 something percent down.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And what made it even worse, it wasn't just one, it was two. It was two back-to-back offers that we sent out, and we got beat out twice by like at least 300,000 of down payment.
Even more so. You can't write the next offer unless you're 20% down or however much they have in that 401k.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have the same results.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's an agent we know who's willing to put their reputation on the line because of our relationship with them.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure I would even like this Long Beach agent. I want them to get it, but I'm not going to make it happen and advise my client to go that direction because I'm not willing to put my reputation on the line. Because it's again, Alex qualified them. It's a 50-50. It could go either way. And when I have someone else with a higher percentage down, I got to go that way. Or at least I got to tell my seller, you're probably better off going this direction. Because I don't want to have egg on my face. As much as I want to help them out, I'm not going to put my clients, time on the line.
I mean, I get it. If I was a listing agent, 100%. It just sucks being on the side,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Any thoughts, closing, or any other questions, objections, or challenges that we're seeing out there?
No, I think the main thing is for me is if we're taking on or interviewing or taking on a new client that has 5% down, 3.5% down, but they're in that starter home range, 550. The best way to do it is tell the story, share our experience, and basically see if they're up for it. Is that the best way to simplify?
Yeah. Storytell with a lot of empathy.
Okay.
Yep. Oh man, Amy, I'm so excited to have the opportunity to work with you and earn your business. I was looking at your profile and reviewing some of the numbers, and Hugo had mentioned that you were pre-approved up to 750,000. I also noticed that you're going in at FHA. Do you understand? Has anyone explained to you the hierarchy yet of finances, like cash being king, then conventional financing, then FHA, then VA, then government backed silent seconds? Has anyone gone over that with you? No? Okay, great. And, so I'm just going through the process, and I'm going to say FHA is all the way down at the bottom. And I can say that in my last 10 transactions of buyers just like you that I've helped, unfortunately, I don't know, again, you guys are gonna have to use your own data, but I haven't put anyone in with FHA financing in at least the last 6 months because they're getting beat out by conventional offers with 20, 30, 40, 50 or all cash down.
So I don't mean to interrupt, but so my question is, because I'm coming across people that are interested, like when I'm doing my cold calls to buy, but also they're like at 450,000. What are we doing with those? Are we just writing down notes and, keeping them for later? Or are we just letting them know, like, right now is not the time, you can't find anything? I don't know. Cause I feel like that's all I'm coming across, people that they want to buy, but they were qualified for 450,000 last year. And, they were priced out but they're still interested. And so how do I deal with them?
You still take them down the path.
Uh-huh.
And they got to self-discover. So Meaning if you set them up in Ylopo in their IDX search, they're going to get what, 3 to 6 properties max. And you're just going to start saying, you know, do you see any of these look appealing to you? You know, so I'm going to still go through the process with them, but you're basically building rapport with them for later down the road. You might have to go open up a door or two. You might even make an offer or two just to get them like as a client. Because if you just sit, so it's like, you know, Zillow best practices, you know, the answer when Hugo calls you guys and says, I got Bob who wants to see 123 Main Street. Is this someone you want to work with? You say yes. And then when you say, hey, Bob, pleasure to meet you. When would you like to see the house? You're not, hey, Bob, have you spoke to a lender yet? Are you qualified? What's your FICO scores at? Have you made any offers? What are you writing those offers in at? Like, you can't just start regurgitating everything that we work on because you're hitting them over the head. So same thing with this lead. You already know that it's a low probability, highly competitive. They don't have money on the sideline to remove an appraisal contingency. But you got to kind of go through this process because it's a seed that you're planting for 6 to 8 months later.
Okay.
And that's where those drip campaigns will continually just keep you top of mind.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Which then kind of segues into you guys shooting videos of exactly what we just talked about. So that way these consumers can watch your videos. Like, question and answer. Is FHA financing even an option in today's market? That's a great question. The last 6 months, we haven't represented one FHA buyer. They're at the bottom of the pecking order, unfortunately. You know, the prices are getting so out of control that the sellers are trying to secure the offer price by asking buyers to remove the appraisal contingencies. If you only have 3.5% down, I'm going to assume that's because you just don't have a lot of money saved up. The unfortunate part about it is, yeah, you can get approved, but your approval is going to fall short of where the market is, unfortunately, because someone is going to be willing to pay 20, 40, 60, 80, or as much as $100,000 over list price. And unless you have that 20, 40, 60, 80, $100,000 on the sideline, your 3.5% down kind of falls by the wayside. If this sounds like your scenario, give me a call and I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with you to see if I can help you be successful in this market.
Okay.
And that's the video. I mean, you just answered, and that will have legs to it because people will watch that over and over, new people.
Yeah, they'll share it. They'll talk about it with their friends and family.
You know, are you FHA financing with 3.5% down and you've been in the market for the last 6 months? If you're watching this video, I'm going to assume it's pretty safe to say you've been having a very difficult time. I'm sure you're thinking that there's got to be a way to get around this. I wish I could say that we had listings or we had opportunities. Unfortunately, personally working with FHA buyers also, it's gnarly out there. They don't have the money to make up the appraisal shortfall, so they're not even getting included in the multiple counter situation. You know, it's not you, it's just what you're up against. In a normal market, you would be a great buyer. But when there's only one listing, you know, coming up to market a week and you have 10, 15, 30 people all jumping on it, one of those 30 people are going to be conventional, all cash, or 40 or 30% down. And with you at 3.5% down, it's almost impossible, no matter how competitive we decide to write this offer, if you're not willing to remove the appraisal contingency, or you can't, like the other 4 or 5 are, it's impossible.
Yeah.
Call me so we can discuss your option. I'd love to get on the phone and just kind of learn more about your situation. So,
Yeah.
All right. How's the weekend shaping up? I mean, are you guys still seeing that people still want to go look at houses? Is there anything to show them? Any houses to show them?
There's limited selection in terms of certain criteria, maybe 3 or 4
Yeah.
per buyer. Some of them are leftovers from the previous weekend, which means one of them they're like holding it open for another weekend, but they already have a ton of offers on it. But I was gonna mention to you guys that Christina has COVID, so I'm kind of like in the house. Desmond has it too. We went to the
Oh,
emergency room
wow.
last night. He had like a really sharp pain in his family jewels, so they recommended we bring him to look at him, I guess. But
Poor
they tested
guy.
him while we were there, and he has COVID as well. So
Um,
Oh, poor
kind of
thing.
have to hold down the fort this weekend.
is that
Oh,
his
Christina,
second
feel
time getting
better.
it?
No, the first time Melrose just had it, and we
Oh,
were all
just
negative, but we had to
got
stay
it.
in the house because nobody else was gonna watch her.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that was a few weeks ago. Now she's negative. I'm about to get tested right now after the script. I'm about to go take the test, but Desmond and Christina for sure haven't. Tina's down bad, like real bad.
Oh, man.
Oh,
So
hope she feels
it's
better.
crazy, man.
Yeah, tell
Yeah,
her.
we're one of the families that didn't get it for like the first 2 years, and now it's caught up.
That's my family too. Then Townsend is the first, and I don't know how me, Teresa, and Eames, we didn't get it, but he's better now. And now we just got a call though from one of the coaches basketball. Townsend had a tournament this past weekend, and one of the boys just tested positive. So now, now we got to go get Townsend tested again. Anyways, so.
Yeah, I'm about to go right
Okay.
now.
Well, I hope Des and Tina feels better, man.
Desmond's okay this morning, but
Yeah.
Christina's a little bit more sick.
All right, guys. Well, hopefully you're setting some appointments this morning, or I mean this weekend. Stay optimistic. Remember, you guys got to be the light to our clients. They're, as beat up as we are, and I know you guys are working really, 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 really hard, and I know this is very taxing. I'll tell you, if we're struggling, it's pretty safe to say a lot of people are struggling. It's very ugly, and I think it's going to get even tighter over the next, still continue down this path. This is our market for the next 60 days. So get used to it. Just understand we will always come out of it. We always do. You just got to stay the course, and then you got to be optimistic with your clients. And the more they get beat up, the more you guys need to turn it up, and even turn up that convincing, and just letting them know that, okay, you guys ready? Like if you have a 20% down buyer, you got to bring that light out and tell them, look, are we ready to do what we need to do to be successful in this market? You guys ready to do this?
Mm-hmm.
And then if they don't, and they say, yeah, and then they come in at 30,000 below, then you guys can make that decision, say, look, I love working with you guys, and I get it. You're trying, you've worked so hard to save up every penny. I know that you're not willing to just give it all away. I totally get it. I just, unfortunately, this market is not going to, it's not for you. And as much as I want to work with you and help you get into that home, I just understand that, we're not willing to do what we need to do to be successful. And I understand. So I'm going to put this process on hold, and we'll just join forces again when the market shifts a little bit, when the rates start to tick up and consumer behavior slows down. I think days on market will start to drag out a little bit, and then maybe we might have a little bit of negotiating power. Again, though, I think there's just going to be a small window, about 90 days to be exact. Once rates go up in March, all the buyers are going to wait on the sideline to see what happens. The media is going to kick in and say, oh, the market's depreciating, everything's going backwards, home values are going down. No, it's not. It's just that buyers are waiting to see what's going to happen. How are consumers going to respond to the lower rates? And then, you know what? In 75 to 90 days, it's going to pick right back up again. It's just not going to be this total frenzy. It's still going to be aggressive, but it's not going to be 25 offers, 60, 80,000 over list. All right. Anything to add, Hugo, or anyone else? All right.
Nothing to add.
Cool. Okay. Stay optimistic.
All right. Thank you.
your
Have a good
clients
weekend,
inspired.
everyone.
Yep. All right,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
I'm
Be
around.
safe.
Let me know if I can help.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.